I went on to sugardaddy.com and I saw that he made $1 million a year. He did not pay for my second semester of tuition as agreed upon.
So you registered for this website for sugar daddies, and sugar makes you a sugar baby, I suppose?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And that's where you connected with Mr. Hughes here, who was also on the site, and you two got into an agreement?
Correct, yes. So he asked me, jokingly on our second date, what do I want out of this agreement? And of course, since we met on a sugar daddy website, I knew that for our relationship, I would get money.
Let's get you in here, Mr. Hughes. So are you conceding to the court that you were on this sugar daddy website?
Yes.
Okay, and you matched with the plaintiff here, and you two started seeing each other.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Now, I don't want to act too naive here, but I believe in these sugar daddy, sugar baby relationships, there is a transactional element, yes?
I'm assuming there always is.
Okay. So what did you understand the arrangement to be?
We had an arrangement, which is true, where I told her that while we were dating, I would pay her tuition of $7,000 for her school.
Okay. Here's my question. Y'all are saying similar but different things. Where we seem to depart is the duration, I think, of the contract. Because you're admitting that you agreed to pay her tuition.
Exactly. I am agreeing that I had accepted that agreement. However, in my mind, I was thinking, okay, well, this agreement goes on as long as we're dating.
Okay.
And that's it.
You're saying that the duration was only going to be substantiated throughout the dating period?
Correct.
However long you both agreed to see each other romantically? But you're saying that you understood it to be indefinitely, that basically as long as you had college tuition due, this man would pay for it.
You see, I never foresaw us breaking up. That was never in my line of sight, you know?
Where would you get an idea like that, young lady?
Well, I didn't think that the sugar daddy relationship
ended?
Yeah.
You just thought it went on till you become a sugar grandbaby? I mean, when does this does this end?
I don't know. I mean, he makes an indefinite amount of money, so I was expecting an indefinite amount of benefits. That's what he told me.
Okay, so why did the relationship end?
I had taken her to Tiffany's.
Okay.
To buy, because I was buying her things all the time, expensive gifts and.
Like what? The court is curious.
I mean, I am a sugar daddy.
Yeah, no, I understand. So, we now we're invested. We
okay,
what types of
we are invested.
Hold on, ma'am.
Yes.
What types of things were you buying her, sir?
I was, well, again, jewelry. I was taking her out to dinner. I was taking her on trips, you know, to Savannah.
So why aren't y'all together, sir? I'm confused.
Well, because I had always told her, she was always taking pictures, you know, and
that is what happened when you sir, I got to stop you. That is what happened when you date these super young Gen Zers. They're addicted to their phones. You know, if you want a woman that's going to sit there and give you undivided attention, you need to date a grown woman, sir.
Yes. However, I always explicitly told her, please do not post it online, obviously.
And you know that was going to go in one ear and out the other, don't you?
She told me that she would not post it. So, I mean, you know, we were deep into the relationship, and so I just believed her.
Okay, well, we'll get to the wisdom of that in a second. So anyways, you told her not to post photos online. Let me guess, she posted photos online.
Correct.
Okay, and what does that have to do with why y'all aren't together?
Well, because...
because, Your Honor, his wife found the images.
His wife?
His wife.
Oh, so you're not just a sugar daddy, you're a married sugar daddy.
Yes.
And
that
did you...
was not disclosed at the beginning of our relationship.
That was going to be my question, ma'am. So you had no idea that in addition to this man being, gosh, I got to think 30 years older than you,
at least,
give or take. Yeah, okay. He's also a married man.
Yes, which was not disclosed.
Now, would you have dated him if you had known he was married?
Absolutely not.
Why did you not at least give her the option of choosing whether or not she wanted to participate in an extramarital affair?
I mean, I didn't go that far into it, to tell you the truth. I mean, in terms of my marriage, I mean, we've been married for 20 years, and the spark has gone out of it. And
so I'm not asking you to justify why you were on the site. Frankly, that's between you and your wife.
Right.
What I'm trying to understand is why you didn't feel the need to tell this young lady that you were indeed married, so she could then choose, because some women do choose to still have affairs with married men.
I just didn't feel like it mattered.
And so when your wife saw the images, sir, what happened?
Well, I mean, obviously she wasn't very happy, you know. And
Are you still with your wife?
I am not.
So your wife left you?
Yes.
Over this?
Yes, correct.
Wow.
We're divorced.
How does that make you feel?
horrible. I mean, she was also not just my wife, my best friend, my everything, you know. And
Was she your best friend in all the things when you were laid up with the plaintiff here?
Yeah, she was my best friend. I mean, no, of course I didn't tell her what was going on, but I don't know. To me, I think, you know, things happen in a relationship, you know, when you're with somebody for a long time. And, you know, I saw her looking at, you know, the pool boy,
Oh,
you know,
goodness.
differently.
Okay.
I'm like,
Excuse me,
okay,
that
well,
is irrelevant.
maybe she's got something going on.
Okay, we're not going to bring up what your wife was or wasn't doing.
Well, this guy's delusional. You can't say she was my everything and my best friend while on the side you're on a website actively paying to be intimate, essentially, with young women. I mean, that is disgusting behavior. And the whole idea of a sugar daddy relationship where that's like this stated goal is at its foundation completely transactional. And I don't think the power is in the girl's court, to be honest. If he said, I'll pay it for your college tuition for as long as we're together, and they weren't together, like, she can't go back and say, you need to pay for it anyway. So I don't think she has a leg to stand on. Let's see what the judge says.
Just stick to the facts of the case. So you two agree that you had an agreed upon financial arrangement in the beginning.
Correct.
You admit, ma'am, that he did comply with his portion up until a certain point in time.
Until a certain point, correct.
So he paid for how many semesters?
He paid for 2 semesters.
He did pay for 2 semesters. And you admit that you paid for 2 semesters,
Yeah.
but you do not feel that you need to pay for a 3rd semester.
Correct.
And you say that he should because
Absolutely.
he said
Because
he would?
He said he would. That was a verbal agreement that we had together. And within that school year, we were dating.
So this is what I think. I think, sir, that you have paid a significant price, it seems, thus far for your choices.
Right.
You also had other things you could do. You talk about the spark going away in your marriage and potentially your wife looking at the pool boy. There's couples counseling, sir. There are all kinds of books and podcasts and websites and resources to work on the fact that what you're describing in a 20-year-long marriage sounds pretty standard, okay? Attraction comes and goes, feelings fade and come back, but signing up for a sugar daddy website, one would not think is the first and most esteemed choice to make, but that's what you chose to do. You also made choices, young lady. You could have, like I said, gotten a job. You could have maybe taken less credit hours and maybe paced yourself academically at something that you could handle financially. But you chose to do none of that. You chose to, in your words, take the easy way out and become a sugar baby. You two both knowingly entered into what the court is going to recognize as a contract, an agreement between consenting adults. As questionable as the morality of it may be, I'm not in moral court, I'm in the court of law. I do find, Mr. Hughes, that you satisfied the term that you agreed to, which is to pay for tuition. I find, ma'am, that you accepted the term to receive tuition, and your part of the deal was to date this man. And you did do that. But it does sound like, Ms. Bennett, that because of your actions, if I am to believe the defendant, which I don't have any evidence to not believe him, that he asked you to exercise discretion around y'all's relationship, to keep it offline. You, like so many young people today, lack any discipline around keeping anything about your life off the internet, and you chose to share it with the world. That had a consequence to him. Now, I'm not going to hold you accountable, ma'am, for the end of his marriage. That's on him. And I believe he is paying a price for that. But you are responsible, if I had to pick between the two of you, as to why y'all two are not an item today. And because of your actions to disclose the relationship publicly and ring the alarm on his world falling apart, which again, that's his problem to deal with, that though ultimately I believe is the reason y'all are not still in the agreed upon arrangement. And therefore, once that arrangement terminated, I believe that your obligation financially to her also terminated. The court says that y'all had a contract. You both agreed to it. But there was a murkiness, there was an ambiguity around the duration part of your contract. That's going to work in your favor today, sir. Because y'all did not specify in writing or otherwise how long the agreement would go for, the court is dismissing your claim today, ma'am. This was not an enforceable contract as to duration. You got 2 semesters of college paid for. There's a lot of people that would love to be able to say the same. You experience what sugar baby life is like. Maybe you'll try job life next time. The plaintiff's case is dismissed. That's my ruling.
Where do we start? I think it's absurd of her to expect him to continue paying for stuff for her when the relationship's over. There's no other source of personal relationship that works that way. Yeah, my ex-girlfriend, but I still pay for her food. No, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I don't know. I have an innate repugnance to this sort of relationship. But does anybody really lose? We could take the fact that he was married out of the equation because that was a no-no for her. And honestly, that's the most moral decision she made in the whole arrangement. But she has her youth and beauty, and he has money. And so is that a terrible trade? I don't think so. If that's what you want, if you want someone to pay for you, then I don't think that's a terrible choice. The difficulty is you are giving up a lot of power in your life if you're expecting someone older than you to pay for stuff. Because presumably, eventually, they might not want you to continue going down your career path. Maybe they want you to be at their house, or raising their kids or whatever. You are giving up the development of your own financial power, essentially, in the marketplace, which will make you forever indebted to somebody more wealthy than you. So if you're all about individualism, especially as a young single woman, then this is a terrible route to take. And the thing is, I think she's on the winning side of the trade at the moment. But when she gets a little bit older, she probably won't be, because there'll be less people interested. That's just how it's going to work. And she won't have developed herself at all because she's used to just getting paid for how she looks. And the looks go, don't they? So if you don't put the work in to develop your personhood, you become a boring person to know. And if you're a boring person to know and not as attractive as you used to be, that's a problem for you. So I don't think really much was done wrong here, except he kept private the fact that he was married, because that would be a big deal for a lot of women, I think. We should talk about the fact that she posted everything online. That was idiotic. I mean, I don't understand why you would do that. He's asked you not to. By the way, that should have raised major red flags. But he's asked you not to, you've agreed not to, and then you just decide to do that anyway? Like, why would you do that? So, I can't help but feel like this was a head-smackingly obvious decision. People don't continue to pay for stuff for you if you're not in a relationship with them. And we can move on to the next. So let me know what you think in the comments below.